Go.
Are we running?
Oh, you're already running? Dang it, man. I'll never catch you now. You got a head start. If nobody will know what we're talking about. That's okay, though. That's okay, though.
Before the show jokes.
Yes, nobody will ever know what we're talking about before the show unless we talk about it in the show, and we're not going to. That's our little secret. Anyways, welcome to the Force Collective. I'm Shade with Chrono and Sir AOA. How are you guys doing today?
Fine.
Tonight?
Thank you.
This afternoon?
Yellow!
We are here to talk about the final episode of The Bad Batch. We didn't get to go in depth with it during the watch party because it was so late and I was going insane from being tired. You don't want to see me go insane. It's not pretty.
Yes, we do.
You
No,
might.
it's hilarious.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys would know, wouldn't you? Oh, wait, you wouldn't. I ain't done it yet. Anyway. I think he's already went insane, but that's okay. We don't judge here. We don't judge you for that. We accept insane people, which is why we still play clips like these. Not that. That. I was trying to find a short clip, but that other one decided to play instead. I mean, yeah, that clip is insane as well, but it would have worked, but it's a long clip, and I didn't, okay, I'm not going to explain the joke. I'm not going to explain the joke. It just makes it lame. Anyways, The Bad Batch, the final episode of the season, we've had time to think about it, so I want to get our initial thoughts on the episode. Well, we sort of did this the last time, but now that we've actually let it marinate in our heads a little bit, maybe we have a bit of a different opinion. So I'll go ahead and start with Chrono since he is underneath me on here. What was your initial thoughts, Chrono?
Well, to quote myself, my initial thought was, what?
What?
Yeah. Because I was expecting like so much more from the last episode. And
Did you say more?
I did.
Oh. We're only 3 minutes and 5 seconds in, and you already said more.
Of course I have.
Okay, go ahead.
He knows the game.
Yes, and he's going to play it.
Yeah.
That's a reference.
As I said, I was expecting a lot more from it because it was the last episode of the season. It was supposed to get us hooked, to give us a lot to think about for the next one. And I don't think it really did that for us. It resolved the situation. Yeah, we saw how they escaped and everything, and I know that they had to show this.
Mm-hmm.
But other than the fact that they really started talking about their feelings in a tube cracking underwater,
Mm-hmm.
while following, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. There's one thing though,
But
that we can get to in a little bit, but go ahead, continue. Sorry, I was starting something else. Yeah, you can go ahead and continue.
I did like the episode. It just doesn't feel like finale.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah. The one thing that we can talk about in just a minute, because I've seen a lot of stuff on YouTube lately about it, but everybody's talking about that final scene at the end of the episode. And what they're speculating is pretty interesting, which might, in a way, sort of curb our opinions of the episode a little bit if it happens to be what's going on. Because it's a small scene, but it seems to be teasing something bigger than any of us had thought of originally. So that alone might curb our opinions of the final episode just a little bit, but we'll get into that in just a little while. Did you have anything else to say about it, Chrono, before I let Sir AOA have at it?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right, Sir AOA, what do you think?
The same thing that I thought after watching it. We were watching episode 1 of season 2, not the final of season 1.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, I haven't seen any of the videos that say, hey, it's the that mountain that they had the base in is certain important mountain. So I haven't actually seen any of those. So I've got no idea. But that still would have worked at the end of the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just, I don't know. You have a 2-part ending episode to essentially do that. Just seems weird, and it definitely left more questions than answers.
That's true. That's what was in my head, like as you were saying that we had it left more questions unanswered rather than answering them. So I feel like a season finale should have actually answered more questions than it did.
Yes.
I think the name of the mountain is called Wayland, if I'm not mistaken. If I haven't, it's been a while since I watched the video, but there was like this video talking about it and all the cloning stuff that they plan to be doing there. I can't remember who I watched. It might have been, who was it? Geeksley or Greeksley. It might have been him. Or it could have been Star Wars Theory. It's one of those two because those are two of the ones I watch a lot. But no, it might have been Bombastic. Yeah, Bombastic. I don't know. It was one of those three. Anyway, there's supposed to be some sort of importance to that mountain and whatever they're doing on that. Let's see. And as far as my initial thoughts, oh yeah, I did forget that, didn't I? I just seen that. I'm sorry. my mind is in shambles. Okay. So I'll give my initial thoughts and then we'll move on to that. So my initial thoughts on this episode was, well, when I first watched it, I quite enjoyed it for some of the things that happened in it. But I go back and think about it a little bit, and like you said earlier, Sir Away, it doesn't feel like the final episode of the season. It feels more like the first episode of the next season, which, in my opinion, it could work like that. Not to say it's a bad episode. It's much better than that other filler episode that had no significance in the story. I mean, if they were going to pull something like that, they should have had like one more episode after that. To be honest, they should have one more episode if they were going to pull something like that, because that was more of a character building type of episode that slowed down everything. You don't slow down on the season finale. You pick things up, and that's what the episode before this one did. Everything picked up, and everything was going crazy because they had to rescue Hunter, and Crosshair happened to be there, and there was this fight between Hunter and Crosshair. And then this next episode, they're just sort of talking. There's not really any action. It's all just slowed down. I don't feel like that's how it should have went for a season finale. But, it is what it is. They did what they did. And, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, definitely sort of agree. It really shouldn't have been slowed down as it was.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a big case of why. I
couldn't tell you why, honestly. Why would you slow it down on the season finale and not answer questions that should have been answered? They've opened so many storylines, and they didn't answer all the questions that they should have.
Though I think they answered one question.
What question is that?
Crosshair was so lying.
He had to be lying.
Because the thing is that the Empire tried to kill him with a starship, and he's still, I can go and join the Empire, no worries, and I'm going to be loyal to people that try to just kill me.
But that's the thing about the Empire. The people that work for the Empire, that brainwashed.
Well,
yeah, and
I was done. I was waiting for you to, reply to that.
Not really much to reply to. It's kind of sort of like, yeah.
Well, okay. At least he got a reply, though. So.
Well, Finn was brainwashed, and he still wanted to leave.
Well, the thing about that is it's part of the Disney trilogy that makes no sense. So, if he was brainwashed since childhood, I feel like there should have been something that got him out of it rather than... Huh?
Sorry. Hang on. There was something that wasn't weird about the sequel trilogy.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I guess you got a point there. Oh, man. Well, the thing about it is, like, if you want to talk about that, Finn shouldn't have been able to do what he did. He shouldn't have been able to override the programming and the brainwashing just because he got scared. If they've been programmed from birth, they should act like they have been. The Stormtroopers were terrible in the sequel trilogy because they didn't act like Stormtroopers. I mean, okay, The Force Awakens, I think, did better with them. And the Last Jedi didn't do much with them at all. And then The Rise of Skywalker just destroyed them, in my opinion, for obvious reasons. If you guys remember the scene where Rey was mind tricking two stormtroopers, yeah, that scene bugs me every single time. It's made just for humor, and it's you can do better than that, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that just describes the entire sequel trilogy. You can do better than that.
That's true.
A 5-year-old child could do better than that.
But off from the stormtroopers, if they're brainwashed or programmed, it should take more than just a simple, oh, I see somebody get shot that's innocent to break them out of it. There should be some action in there, like in their lives that or actions they've had to make or take to sort of bring about the degradation of the brainwashing that's in their heads. I'd say that brainwashing doesn't last forever, and they probably ended up like talking to somebody at some point that had different ideas, maybe sort of bringing them out of it. Then again, maybe the brainwashing is that strong to where they can't be brought out of it, but apparently it's not with the sequel trilogy.
It was the blood splashed over the helmet, and the smell must have got into his face and into his nose and broke the brainwashing.
If brainwashing got
it was special stormtrooper blood.
Oh, special stormtrooper blood. That the one stormtrooper in the entire First Order has a special blood type that breaks brainwashing, though he himself was still brainwashed.
Yep.
No, it works with the sequel trilogy because it makes just as much sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a burn if I ever made one. Oh, hi, Nerd for Real. Yes, I was talking about that the other day. I was or yesterday actually. Which, if you wanted to join in, you can join in now. I can send you a link to this stream in the Discord if you want to, and we can have you show up on here, special guest. You know, we're like one person short, anyways, so it would be perfect. And then we can get your thoughts, I guess, or whatever. But finishing up my thoughts, good episode, bad finale, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. It could have been better for a finale, but I do like some of the stuff that the episode was doing. It's just like that. It's just like the filler episode that we talked about. It's terrible placement in the season. It could have worked as a episode. Like maybe it could have worked as the episode before the last one, which they would have to work a lot of things around to make it all fit. But I feel like that kind of episode would have led to a faster paced episode, such as the first part of it. So if you get what I mean, I hope I'm saying that well enough for you to understand what I mean. Because for some reason I feel like I'm not making sense with that. Do you guys get what I mean? I want to make sure.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. I'm glad you're following me. But that's my initial thoughts. But on to one other thing before we move on with the discussion. We have a sponsor again for today's episode, and Sir AOA will be the one reading it off to us. So, Sir AOA, your time to shine.
Today's sponsor for the Force Collective is Kaminoan Wet and Wild Water Park. With this new water park, Toboka City has never been wetter or wilder. Have fun with the whole family with their new ride like the Corridor Water Slide. This fast-paced slide will have your hearts racing, especially with the lights flickering. Want a bit more slower pace? Try walking through the underwater tunnels and get a closer look at the wildlife. Don't worry about the wildlife getting closer to you. The state of the art electric defense never shuts off. It would be horrifying if it did. Want a relaxing soak? Our state-of-the-art pools will submerge you with the right amount of water. Just lay back and let the water flow over you. The best new ride is the Medical Pod Subs. Take a trip with these babies and get a 360 view of the water. May need to dodge debris. So book a holiday with Kaminoan Wet and Wild Water Park.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Just say hi to the Prime Minister while you're down there. Back to you, Jay.
Okay, I should have let you finish because that part was the best part. Okay, so you're okay. I gotcha. Well, if we're still streaming in about 40 minutes, maybe you can join if you are up to it. If not, we'll make a time for it to happen because that would be a very interesting collaboration right there. Anyways, now since we've gotten our initial thoughts out of the way, I feel like maybe we can come up with some theories for the next season. I don't know. Actually, I want I want to bring up a point before we do something like that. There was Crosshair said they took out his inhibitor chip, and a lot of people and Commander Tano put out a poll for this. A lot of people were saying that maybe he's lying, and which at first I was thinking, no, I don't think he is. But after seeing him hold his head about the same exact way that Wrecker did, I'm starting to believe that maybe he is lying. What do you guys think?
He's lying. He's absolutely lying. Like I said.
Yeah.
He's either lying or he's or it's just not being well developed into the show because it doesn't add up the way he behaves. I don't know. I really don't get where he's going because when we thought he was controlled by the chip, he was like, yeah, they're very focused soldier. Like he was onto them whenever they showed up, and he was just doing his job, making sure his squad followed orders. But after that scene in the training room, when he reveals that he's no longer under the chip's influence, his behavior completely changed from that point.
Exactly. And he didn't try to kill Omega. He tried to get her out of Topoka City. He killed his own soldiers. He didn't try to do that before. He was dead set on taking the Bad Batch and eliminating Omega. So there was a change, but was it the chip being removed, or is there something going on with his head right now? And if his chip was removed, we already talked about this, but the when it was removed is a very important thing to know. And I'm sure that we'll find out when in the next season, or the how, or the if he got it removed. So, I mean, I don't know.
Because we have been trying to give them a lot of benefit of the doubt, but they really keep evading giving us any answers on the chip thing.
Yeah, I know. It's that the chip is like an underdeveloped part of the show. They should expand on it a lot more. I mean, Omega seems to know a lot about it, and I'm sure. Well, no, they wiped everything on Camino before they destroyed the place. But there's got to be a place where they can find out more about this stuff. They treat it like, oh, it's just an inhibitor chip. Okay, you gotta take it out. If you don't take it out, you're evil. But then there's so many different clones doing different things that don't add up to the behaviors that we've seen with the other ones that are influenced by the chip. So I feel like there should be some sort of explanation, and they haven't done that yet. Did you have something to say, Saray?
I don't know.
All I heard was like you wanted to say something. And I'm like,
no, that was just me clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't like cutting you off or anything like that.
No.
But the inhibitor chip thing has got me a bit confused, and I don't know if they're trying to stray away from it a bit, because I'm pretty sure the initial reaction to the inhibitor chips is that they weren't widely well received. Not widely received. They weren't well received. I guess they wanted the clones to just have known about this mission for a long time and decide to act on it. But due to the fact that they've humanized the clones, they can't do that. They have to have a reason to turn these clones against the Jedi, especially after all they've went through in the Clone Wars. You couldn't see Captain Rex turning on Ahsoka of his own free will. There's no way he would do that.
And you wouldn't. I couldn't see Commander Cody going against Obi-Wan in the exact same sort of situation.
Exactly.
You know, like I said the last time this came up, you can brainwash soldiers to do crazy things to the enemy. It's another thing altogether to get them to do it against their allies.
Exactly.
So even if so something like an inhibitor chip would need to be in there to set that off. You couldn't just go, oh, well, you know, they were just following orders. No. For some of the clones, it might have been a really easy situation, like, you know, the Marines with Mundy. I can't remember the guy's full name. Because, you know, in the story, the guy was an arsehole. But it doesn't. Or
Pong Quail if he was around.
Yeah, but it doesn't explain. You know, Commander Cody shooting or ordering the tank shot against Obi-Wan, or you know, the clones that destroyed Plo Koon's starfighter. It doesn't add up for them.
Or what about Wrecker and Omega when he got affected by the chip?
Yeah. But I was more talking about all the stuff that
I know what you mean, but like, let's say they still did the Bad Batch, and they decided that they didn't have the inhibitor chips as the means to turn the clones against the Jedi, and they still went with the same storyline. How would you explain Order 66 turning Wrecker against Omega? Like, there has to be something to cause that.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that a lot of people that are against the inhibitor chips aren't enjoying it in the story in the Bad Batch anyway. Hence why I'm using all of the prequel trilogy examples.
True.
You know, everything that's in the Bad Batch is under the all the clones have inhibitor chips. Philosophy, rather than no, the clones didn't have inhibitor chips or stuff like that.
See, the thing about the clones, and there's a go ahead, Chrono, before I go, because I got a lot to say about that.
I think just real quick, I think the inhibitor chip works as a concept, and I think what we knew before this show was fine, but what we don't know has not been explained, we need to, because right now, as you said, we have been seeing inconsistencies through the behavior of these clones. So, are they all affected by it? Are they not? Does it degrade? I mean, we have been through all these possible explanations, and we have not been given a satisfactory one, because they have pretty much just gone
mystery
with
boxed it.
Yeah, it's like okay, the chip is there, it does something to them, go with it. But some don't add up, and that's the problem. The concept is fine, but they have gone too far without actually developing said concept. So, of course, we start questioning things, and things start to look weird. and that doesn't help the show at all.
Like, as far as inconsistencies, the clones at the beginning when Tech and all the others sort of well, no, who was it? I think it was Echo that pointed out that the regs were acting a little bit off, and then Tech is like, okay, I'll find out, and he tries to talk to one of them, and they shove him to the side. But then we got Hauser, and then we go back to Wrecker, who gets affected by the chip and nearly kills his entire squad, and Omega, who he is very close with. Captain Rex nearly killing Ahsoka. Cut LaQuaine not doing anything related to Order 66. Now, he never got the order, but if it's like some sort of a device that activates by word or by voice, then of course he probably won't do anything. But I guess I can't count that one as an inconsistency now that I think about that. No, Gregor. Now, but there might be an explanation for that one. Because, the explosion might have done something. I mean, he already acted a little bit crazy like he does in Rebels, so. I can't really think of any other ones off the top of my head besides maybe what's going on with Crosshair, because now we don't even know for sure if he doesn't have the chip or not. He's either lying or he does, and there's something really off about it. I don't know. But all these inconsistencies right here, they haven't explained any of it. And that's a problem.
Hauser is probably the biggest issue because the plot point that they're trying to make with him is very cool, but how does it work if he's supposed to be under the chip's influence?
How dare you talk about my Hauser as an issue? But no, you're right.
I'm just gonna disappear from the stream right now.
But I mean, the thing is that everyone tends to forget that it is essentially hypnosis.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you can always fight hypnosis. And another thing is that it could very much just be a case of the longer you're out in the world, the more your own mental framework changes to the point where the effectiveness of the chip lessens.
Yeah. And that might be the explanation, but I just wish that we would get that in the show instead of having to speculate it. and that's not to say they won't give it to us, but the thing is, though, they're not really alluding to anything when it comes to the chips. There's a difference between, like, knowing that they're going to lead up to it and begging them to lead up to it because you have no idea what's going on. If you have to beg for them to lead up to something like that, that means they're not doing a good job at leading up to it, if they're leading up to it at all. And then there's speculating out of not out of curiosity, speculating because they've given us something to speculate about, not because we're just trying to figure this stuff out. We have no idea. You get what I mean? I'm trying to say this right, but it's I think it's coming out terribly. What I'm trying to say is they haven't given us anything to speculate about when it comes to the inhibitor chip. So we're speculating out of our own curiosity to figure out what's going on, not because they've given us something to go on and trying to figure out where it leads. That's what I'm trying to say. I think I said it better that time.
Sounded so.
Huh?
I said it sounded so.
Okay, good. Where was I going with that now that I think about it?
I'm not jacked into your head.
That's true. You're not. I had no idea where I was leading with that. Anyway, I think. Oh, I think what I was trying to lead into is that the reason why they haven't led into it is because maybe they don't have any intent on explaining much about it. And that right there I would find to be a problem, because they've given us this and given us a little information about it, but they've left a few inconsistencies that would lead us to believe that there might be something else about this thing that we don't know. But they haven't led us to believe that there is anything else. It's just clones changing for whatever reason, you know? They see the Empire doing things they don't like. Okay, well, I'll tell my men to stand down, and they'll stand down, or at least half of them will.
Yeah, the not so optimist in me fears that it might be a case of we don't care if it makes sense, just go with it. And I really hope it isn't that.
Yeah.
But I mean, so much media these days is going that way. So, and yeah, I know we have more faith in this project because of Filoni, but who's to say? He might even think that, oh yeah, the cheap thing doesn't matter. Focus on the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, people change, and he might end up because he was basically what some would consider a god for Star Wars after he worked on the Clone Wars like that. But now, like where he's under Disney, they could end up, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist here. I really ain't. But
they've turned him to the dark side.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And the thing is, though, I mean, he is creative director, which is a good thing. I mean, better than what we had before. But that also means that he can't solely focus on one project at a time. So it might not even be his fault. What I'm trying to say is that if there's inconsistencies, it might just be because he's not fully involved, and because they've got other TV shows they got to work on, and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are working on all of those. And where Dave Filoni is creative director, of course, he's got creative control over all of those, or I'd assume he does. And I mean, there, of course, will be some inconsistencies, whether it's on accident or because they're neglecting it on purpose. That remains to be seen. But there is a lot to take care of, and it's probably not just one dude. But I mean, he's not fully involved with this show like he was with the Clone Wars, is what I'm guessing. And maybe that's just me trying to find a excuse for why there might be some things sort of not adding up with this show, because he did good with the Clone Wars, in my opinion. And the Bad Batch is still good. It's a good show. But there's a lot of issues with it that, I mean, you can sort of look over and still enjoy it, but at the same time, you're like, well, some of these things don't add up, or maybe it should have ended this way instead of that way. Doesn't really feel like a season finale. Wink, wink, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. That's what's in my head.
Those excuses, I mean, I want to keep liking the show. And the reason I'm focused so much on these inconsistencies is because I already invested in this team. I really like them. So I don't want to see them fail, and I don't want to see them make a mediocre show. I want the show to be good. I mean, they came from the Clone Wars. They're supposed to be as good as the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Actually, they should be better with the amount of quality that these episodes have, because the animation quality, the music quality, like everything about it is amazing.
Yeah, production is awesome.
Yes. And I feel like that because of all the work they're putting into this, they should also put just as much work into the story itself. Now, I do praise this show for its world building. It does do pretty good with that. The thing I don't praise it for is answering our questions so far. But this is only season 1. And maybe they meant to not answer all our questions. Maybe season 2 will clarify some things and we'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we can forgive these, whatever we were calling inconsistencies before, because now we know the answer. But I mean, who are we to dictate how a show progresses?
Well. There's a future title for a stream.
Wait, what did I say?
The Eating Crow stream.
The what?
The Eating Crow.
Eating Crow.
Humble Pie. Let's go with that one.
Okay, we'll do that. I have no idea what's going on here. Wait a minute.
No. What I'm saying is that in the middle of season 2, at the end of season 2 or at the end of season 3, when all of the answers have just been.
Okay, no, they can't wait that long now. They can't pull a Rise of Skywalker and try to answer every question with the final movie.
But I mean, who said 3 was going to be the final season?
That's true.
But they really can't risk it. They really can't risk it because you have to understand that we like the show. We're trying to make sense of it because we like it. We're invested in it. But the show is not exactly doing that great. I mean, a lot of people just tune out of Star Wars, and even if they don't hate it, they just don't pay any attention to it. So if you want people to actually care, you can't afford those kind of mistakes because people will not be invested if they see that the plot is full of holes and stuff, and they will be like, why bother?
Yeah.
True. One thing I think they messed up on is trying to do it within like 24 to 28 to maybe 30 minutes long. They need to probably, if they're going to make seasons as short as 16 episodes, they need to make them at least 30 to 40 minutes long instead of 23 or 4 minutes to 30 minutes. Because 16 episodes, like I said, don't feel like it was enough for the story they're trying to tell for this season. They could have gotten more in if they had lengthened the episodes a little bit, is what I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Then again, that might just be me wanting more Bad Batch, But I mean, I love the show. I recognize its issues. It's like the prequels. I love the prequels.
Yeah, pretty much.
Recognize its issues, but I love them anyway. And you know what? I mean, you can always have a good laugh at some of the funny things that happen in the prequels that everybody's like, that's so stupid, but now you don't want to take it out because the memes just make it so much better, so much more enjoyable.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I could imagine the prequels without Hello There or This Is Where the Fun Begins. Two of the things that people meme all the time, or even this. That was the short version. But you know what I'm talking about. So
yeah.
I mean,
all the discussion on sand.
Or that. Yeah, you know what? That is some of the worst dialogue in the entire movie, but you don't want to get rid of it because it's such a memeable line. I hate sand. And you can make so many memes with that. It's just now, given that's probably not a good way to have your movie received as like meme material. But the thing is, though, it's too late now. It's turned into memes, but they're such enjoyable memes that if it was gone, you wouldn't get the enjoyment of those memes that you would have gotten. So, I mean, the thing is, though, like the sequels aren't like that. I mean, they have some meme material in there, but it's mainly just stuff that people hate on rather than and make fun of. Yeah.
Actually, they work precisely because people kind of hate on them because it's like making fun of stuff they didn't like.
Yeah, but there's a difference between them and the prequels, though. Because the prequels actually had heart in it. Now, I tried to explain this to somebody a long time ago. If you've watched any of the other Star Wars movies, you get like this feeling from them. Now, it's hard to explain it, but if you've ever watched a movie that somebody's put a lot of passion into, even if it wasn't a great movie, but you still feel the passion they put into it, that's what I call having a movie having heart in it, or that's what that feeling would be, because you feel the passion that they put into it. You know that they actually cared about the movie they were making. And then here's the sequel trilogy that doesn't have that feeling, and it's not because it didn't have enough Star Wars references to the past movies or whatever. It's because it felt more like a cash grab type of deal. Like, oh, we bought Star Wars, I guess we need to make movies on it now. Forget about all the lore and stuff like that. We'll make our own thing, just to push an agenda or to make money. And
make everything 25% different so I can create toys and get all the cash from.
Exactly. There's no heart put into it. Like, let's say Rogue One. I actually felt something from that one. It felt like whoever was doing it cared about what they were doing, at least for the most part. When they took Gareth Edwards off the project to redo the ending, if I'm not mistaken, that's how it went. The ending wasn't bad by any means. I would love to see the alternate end, though. I wish they would release that. That would be so amazing.
What was the alternate end?
Where I guess they all survive, or at least most of them survive, instead of every single one of them dying. It's because they weren't in any other movies that they killed them off. But, there's a lot of characters, like, let's say Captain Rex and Ahsoka, that were never in the movies. Well, okay, Captain Rex is now officially in episode 6, if I'm not mistaken. That don't count because that wasn't the original plan. I'm talking about fully original characters that have never been in any of the movies at all, like Ahsoka. They tried to kill her off once, I think. I think they were going to try to kill her off. They weren't. They were very weird about it in Rebels when they, I guess supposedly killed her in the season 2 finale. And I guess the fans' feedback sort of pushed them to have her survive. Now, given this has been a while back, so maybe I'm getting some of this wrong, but she's one character that is now in episode 9, even if it is episode 9, she is still technically in it as a voice. So her character is now technically in a movie, but the thing is,
just not a good one.
Okay, yeah, given it's not a great one for sure. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to killing off characters that aren't in any of the main movies, they let Ahsoka survive. They let Captain Rex survive. But they couldn't let Jyn Erso or Cassian or the Guardians of the Wills. I keep forgetting their names for some reason. I know who they are. I just can't. I don't know.
Baze.
Yeah, Baze and
Chirrut.
Shiro.
Yeah,
Chirrut. Oh, Chirrut. Okay. Yeah, I was close on both of those. I mean, I had that in my head for Baze, but I couldn't remember Chirrut. I always got his name mixed up for some reason. I don't know why. He's probably my favorite character in that movie, though. I love his character.
Yeah, cool character.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, going back to what I was saying before, the movies felt like they had heart. The original ones did. And the prequel ones felt like they had heart as well. They may not have been as well received, but you go back and watch it and you can feel that they actually tried to tell a cohesive story, one that was consistent with the rest of the trilogies.
Well, as I've said previously, the prequel trilogies felt like a 5-star chef trying out a new recipe with new ingredients.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
failed, but it's still a meal created by a 5-star chef.
Yeah. And it's not like a total failure.
No.
Frankly, I'd say the prequel era, maybe even if it isn't the movies, but the era itself is probably the most interesting era in Star Wars.
Yep.
There's so much that you can do with it. You're very restricted with the sequel trilogy. Or at least if you're going to get rid of all the lore that was originally created, then you're restricted. Because, I mean, you're still technically restricted either way. It's hard to create something after the ending of the Star Wars saga, which is Episode 6, because there's balance. That's really just the end. And, I mean, you can create stories and all that stuff, but
you say it was hard, but yet a whole lot of authors created hundreds of books
that's true.
doing exactly that.
It's true.
Maybe it's hard for current Hollywood, but
That's mainly what I mean.
Hard.
It's hard to create something that works with it. Let me put it that way. Maybe not before it was sold off, but now it seems like it's very difficult to create something that works with the story of the original Star Wars saga, because we basically have Rey becoming the chosen one instead of Anakin, and she ends up being a Palpatine, and then takes the Skywalker name. So technically, a Palpatine is the one that saved the galaxy, not Skywalker. I don't know why they call it the Skywalker saga when Rey is not a Skywalker. Now that will trigger some Raylos, so I better fix that real quick. While I'm doing that, there we go. Okay. Anyways,
Yes, Kylo.
But the thing is, I never believed that she was a Skywalker. At least, not in Episode 9. After they revealed that she was a Palpatine and then went and took the name Skywalker, I never accepted that. Now I might sound childish to some people when it comes to that stuff. Like, oh, you won't accept it. It's canon, so you got to, And then there's this one guy that's like, no, I'd rather not accept that. And they'll be like, oh, you're just acting like a child. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but the thing is, though, that is not how it should have went. Now, given I'm only a Star Wars fan, I'm not an executive or anything like that, or part of the story group, so I can't dictate how it should go. The only one that really should is the creator themselves, but the creators sold it, so they no longer have any say in the for the future of their creation. But that's only if the ones currently owning it doesn't allow that. See, the thing is, though, they didn't allow George Lucas to give his say as much as they probably should have. They got rid of his treatments for his original version of the trilogy. They didn't use anything in it, from what I'm gathering. And Rian Johnson decides to just go off the first draft that he comes up with for The Last Jedi. So you can tell they didn't have a plan. And that's the why are we talking about the sequels more than the Bad Batch? Sorry, I'm confusing myself now. Like we were talking
I don't
about.
really know. You were going somewhere with something, and we ended up here. I don't know.
Well, we were talking about writing quality and
that's right,
production quality, and you kind of can't discuss anything like that in Star Wars and not bring up the sequel trilogy.
Okay, I'm glad that you reminded me where we were at. Okay, but since we've thrown all those things out there for your consideration, you can tell that they haven't seemed to care much about the quality of what they are working on. or at least the ones that aren't Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, they seem to put heart into what they're doing, and you can feel it in the Clone Wars for sure. As far as the Bad Batch, it feels like they are actually trying to make something worth watching. But the thing is, they still have some inconsistencies in there that maybe they'll answer. You got something to say?
Yeah, one thing that I would probably say about the Bad Batch is that I think it really sort of does feel like this is Dave Filoni's prequel trilogy. That this is Dave Filoni's. I've got all these new toys, so I want to play with them and see what I can come up with.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of why I said earlier about, maybe in the future, using the power of prediction, there might be a stream that we call Eating Crow or Eating Humble Pie, because finally everything just clicked at the end of X episode in season X, and oh my god, we finally realized what was going on, and wow.
Hey, I mean, you never know. We might be too blind to see what actually is going on. Maybe there are hints that we don't get.
But I mean, it might not be that we're blind or anything like that. But, maybe we're just still in the breadcrumb stage. And, maybe we've just been too fattened by other shows that aren't so lenient on their breadcrumbs. So we're just sort of programmed to expect to gorge on breadcrumbs and not have it sort of plotted out and drawn out over multiple seasons.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So, as you said, and I definitely agree, Bad Batch is definitely done with a lot of heart. But I think everyone definitely has to agree that, dear God, is it a slow burn?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the thing is that, like I said, could just also be another fact that, we're so used to other shows, and I'm not just talking about Disney shows or Star Wars shows, where it's just sort of like, here is all the breadcrumbs, and here is all the answers, and here is everything, that we no longer have the ability to consume media at that slow burn. And
one thing,
trust. I would probably say trust that everything's going to work out. And that's also actually another problem, is that, our trust has just been so
trust in them has been shaken.
And shaken. And this is not just Disney, this is Hollywood. This is the entire entertainment industry. Hell, I would probably also throw in video game developers.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, dang it. Go ahead.
Well, actually, sort of all of entertainment medium. Our trust has been so abused that we kind of do demand that everything is laid out very obviously rather than very slowly.
Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to mention real quick, and there is a difference between this and Marvel, but they worked out like this whole storyline among 20 different movies, 20 or 22, I can't remember. So they pulled off like the slow burn that you're talking about, because not every movie had to deal with Thanos. I mean, yeah, there was this and that filled in these holes or that or those holes. There was an Infinity Stone here or there, but not every one of them was like, okay, Thanos is coming, we gotta prepare. You know what I mean? So they had like this slow burn as well, and maybe that's what the Bad Batch is going for. I mean, who knows? I'm trying to be very optimistic with this. So I'd say that maybe this is the case, and if that's the case, they may pull it off pretty well.
But I mean, the one thing that we need to remember is that that wasn't so much of a slow burn when every breadcrumb point was actually a pile of breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
That, you know, because you got to remember that all of that type of stuff happened in one movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've got to sit there and gorge on all the breadcrumbs to then have a period of time of nothing to then another pile of breadcrumbs. So the Thanos story was definitely a slow burn, but that was a slow burn of piles of breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. They did give us more information than the Bad Batch has so far with each of their movies, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with ways to sort of justify this. I'm hoping there is a silver lining or maybe some light at the end of the tunnel, as they say.
Hey, like I said, the justification is is that it is probably just Dave Filoni going, hang on a second, I have all of the power and all of these toys and all of this resources. Let's cook something crazy.
He'll pull a He-Man. I have the power.
that is one of the main reasons why I said it like that.
Yes, that's what got me thinking about it when you said that.
Yeah, no, you know, maybe the Bad Batch is just his prequel trilogy where he's trying to cook up this massive, crazy meal, and you know, maybe it will work, and maybe it will work, maybe it won't. And the thing is that we might not be able to see how it all fits together until the final season.
Yeah. And you're probably right.
And at the end of the final season, we'd all be sitting here going, wow, what an amazing series. How it was so intricately connected and it all just threaded together, and wow this and wow that. Now, of course, we can be sort of sitting at the end of season, at the final season, going, dear God, it was like Lost 2.0 Disney style animated.
Yeah.
You know, we could be saying that as well.
Hey, looky here.
At this present moment, we just, you know, don't have enough to say one way or the other. But I mean, you know, the one thing that we definitely can say is that it's obvious that, yeah, there is a lot of heart to this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the exact same time, we don't know how far or how far it will go or won't go, or insert all the other crazy stuff.
Before we continue on, Nerdporeal, nice to have you on the stream.
Well, how you doing? Nerdporeal. That's how you pronounce it. Nerdporeal, like
Poreal.
corporeal.
Oh, Nerdporeal. Okay. I don't know why I was pronouncing it wrong.
No, it's all right. It's cool. Thanks for having me on. I was listening to you part of the stream on my way back home. Thanks for entertaining me.
Well, I'm glad that we could.
So I couldn't help but you guys were talking about the sequel trilogy, or no, I'm sorry, the Disney trilogy. It's not worthy. It's not worthy of being called a sequel trilogy.
No, it's not.
Well,
I walked out of Force Awakens angry. Last Jedi, I was like, okay, and then then I saw the review. Then I saw everybody's reviews, how much crap it was getting. Then I went and saw it again. I was like, oh, this movie is not rewatchable. And then Rise of Skywalker broke me completely. Why?
Wow, you made stronger stuff.
Well, Rise of Skywalker broke me because it basically destroyed the prequels and the original trilogy, in my opinion, with taking away Anakin's sacrifice and making Rey the chosen one.
yes.
And then Rey at the end of the movie, and my brother and I looked at each other and laughed when she identifies as a Skywalker. And I was thinking, maybe I should identify, because I'm bald, maybe I should identify as Jeff Bezos and his $100 billion too. So
you can do that.
So yeah, and then I'll be honest. I mean, I liked Clone Wars. I liked the original Clone Wars from 2003, and I got really into season 3 of the Clone Wars with that George Lucas and Dave Filoni worked on.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I think that it was the Night Sisters arc that my buddy was able to go get tickets to see in the movie theater to see all 3 episodes, back to back. So I started watching that. I got so into season 3, and then season 4 happened. That was great. Season 5 was freaking epic with the fight with Sidious and Savage and Maul. And then Disney bought Lucasfilm, and then they canceled the series. They canceled it right shortly after season 5 happened.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm like, what the heck? So then they said, oh, we're gonna make some more episodes. I was really happy with the ending. I was happy with the Yoda's arc, where he goes to not Korriban, it should be called Korriban, not Moraband. I don't know why they felt the need to change the name. I think Korriban's a pretty solid name from a very solid game called Knights of the Old Republic. Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, someone actually sort of came up with a reason why that would have happened, and the simple fact of the matter is, well, time. There are many words in the English language that spelt differently than they were originally, or even pronounced differently. The best one would be, man. It used to be spelt M-A-N-N, and I think it was pronounced mun or something like that.
Really? I didn't know that.
So,
What about woman? Was there 2 N's in that too?
No. Because
don't say this out loud. You might get canceled.
No. There is a reason. Because and this is the reason why we have the word mankind, is that man, and I'll just pronounce it in the modern English, was the word for grown adult.
Don't tell half the population that.
Now, there was a word put in front of man to determine if you were talking about a male or a female, and that was with for females and where for males.
What was
Hence
that
why-
again? Whiff for females?
WIF, WIF.
Like, you
And-
you take a whiff of something? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow.
So
Oh, my.
you would say Whiffman. And for men, it was Wereman.
like
and
like
that's-
like in that like the same prefix as like werewolf.
Exactly. And
Where did
that's
that
how
originate? Did that originate in
that's
like German and like Anglo-Saxon or something, or Saxon or something, or where did that prefix originate?
I'm not entirely sure.
Because when I think werewolf, for some reason I think either English or I think Saxon or German or Germanic or whatever. So
Um
I'm not a student
yeah,
of history, so I don't know.
it wasn't changed until the Normans rocked up, and
Those darn
French
Normans.
and French was actually introduced into English.
I heard that the Normans. I heard now because I watch a lot of Lord of the Rings videos as well. I heard the English lost their mythology because of the Norman invasion.
I cannot say anything on that.
And hence, Tolkien wanted to, with Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth, wanted to kind of create a mythology for the English.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it was lost in the Roman invasion.
During the Celtic time. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is that French is a gendered language, and
all the land-based ones, Spanish, Italian,
yeah,
ends in A or O, yeah. So I okay.
And the thing is that it was at that point that you actually started seeing woman enter the English language. I don't know exactly when, and I'm pretty sure a linguist is sitting there going, no, it was during this time period. I'm not a linguist, so...
How did we get to talking about this, by the way? I kind of forgot now.
But I feel like I feel like I'm in a room with a couple professors trying to talk about these things that they're trying to teach these kids or whatever.
Well, I mean, one time when I was younger, people thought I was a teacher when I was 14 because I was, bigger guy, and I was taller and bigger than all the other kids when I was a freshman in high school. So someone thought I was like a teacher. I was like, shut up. I don't look that old. But yeah, I mean, going back to Star Wars, I loved the Clone Wars. I loved how it ended.
Oh.
I saw Rebels. I really, what's weird? I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really like season 1. I really like season 1 especially when they brought in Tarkin, and then they kind of changed the game. They got rid of those two wacky Imperial officers, and then I really like the Grand Inquisitor. I think he should have remained alive for the whole series.
Yeah,
and he would have teamed up with Thrawn, and then we would have had that cameo with Vader. I love the episode. I love both the times that they showed Vader. The first time in the beginning of season 2, and at the end when he fights Ahsoka. I'll be honest with you, Ahsoka should have died. I think to me that was the end of her arc. Her facing Vader, and then
you just came along, and you're now canceled from this stream.
Those were
and that's what Lucas originally wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni doesn't have the guts to kill off his characters, so there's no sense of stakes or tension because of that, and hence because of that feeling, Star Wars gets kind of boring now. I mean, when Lucas was running things, you didn't know who was going to live or die. Even in the Clone Wars, even in both Clone Wars shows, you didn't know who was going to live or die. I mean, obviously Obi-Wan and Anakin survived, but there were a lot of other characters.
Like Captain Rex or let's say Quinlan Voss. They changed things from the outside lore with the Clone Wars anyway. So you never knew what they were going to do.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys. I mean, everybody. I mean, the final season of the Clone Wars, the one that Disney just released, that was met with high praise, and I liked it. I did not care for the middle arc. I don't know why they chose that story to
I
be the
agree.
middle arc. They could have used Sons of Dathomir to explain how Maul got out of that situation with Sidious. I think that would have made more sense.
Mhm.
Or they could have ended. I mean, I personally really loved how they ended Ventress's story in the book Dark Disciple. In the book Dark Disciple, which is
That's
basically
a great
8 episodes. So ultimately, she
Wow.
gets killed by Dooku. So Dooku actually kills someone, and it was her. It was Ventress by just by his Force lightning.
Ooh. See, they need to explain some of those things in the show, and not just leave it as a book or a comic or something like that, because that would give us closure on certain characters that we never get to see again, like Ventress, as you mentioned. We haven't gotten to see her since, since probably season 5. Yeah, the end of season 5. That's right. Yeah, we ain't seen her since then, and they never mentioned her again ever since. I feel like there should have been some closure there, as also for what was the other thing that I was about to mention? My brain is, like I said, shambles today.
I'm surprised they didn't finally finish the Utapau arc either.
Yeah.
That arc.
Yeah.
That was a great arc. That was a great arc. There was a scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin talk about Ahsoka after she left, after the fact. And Anakin felt like he typically feels he felt abandoned. And that was another draw to the dark side.
I feel like that was essential. They should have showed that.
And it was maybe I'll be honest, I grew up in the 90s, so I really love that crappy looking, pre what do you call that anime the way that the animation looked in that, because it was done like preliminary work and stuff. It looked like something from like Mainframe Entertainment from the mid-90s, like a reboot or a Beast Wars, I love that look. Don't ask me why. But it would have been cool if they would have done the Utapau thing with that. That's the one with the big, massive Kyber crystal, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They could have did that, or the Sons of Dathomir, or the Ventress stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was supposed to be an arc where Ahsoka comes across a temple, a Sith temple, in the bottom of or below or like in the very lowest levels of Coruscant. And then she has a very close run-in with Sidious. At least that's what I heard.
Oh,
and I thought that was supposed to be I thought that was going to be the middle arc, but they didn't, do that. So, but that final arc with her and Maul, I read the Ahsoka novel. Have you guys read the Ahsoka novel?
Yes, I have.
It kind of was different. Whereas I think in the Ahsoka novel, she leads him into a trap, and that part I could believe. In the show, she actually beats Maul, which I'm like, if Obi-Wan couldn't beat Maul, how can Ahsoka beat Maul? So that's where my mind was when I was thinking that, or when I was watching that. So I didn't quite buy it. And but I did love the final episode where they're both working together to survive, trying to get off that ship.
Yes.
Even despite the fact that they're two powerful Force users, they're still wildly outgunned on that ship by all the clones, which is something I'm kind of feel in the Mandalorian in that final episode where they literally go, those three Mandalorian women and Boba Fett's partner or whatever, they just kill everybody on the ship except for Moff Gideon. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why can't we have villains that are powerful and scary that will challenge the heroes? The original trilogy would not have worked had it been like that, like the way way it's shown in the Mandalorian.
But they had the robots. The robots were big and scary and with their punching into the metal doors.
And weren't those things in like the Dark Empire comic or something? Those troopers or those dark troopers or whatever what the heck they were called?
I don't think I've read that one. Now that I think about it,
that's the one where Palpatine comes back as a clone. They originally wanted to bring Vader back. This is EU. They wanted to bring Vader back, and Lucas, George Lucas still had, a say in what kind of stories could be made. He was mostly hands off, but someone wanted to make a story where Vader got cloned. and brought back. And he's like, no, you can't bring Vader back. Bring the Emperor back. So they brought the Emperor back.
Ooh.
And then, years later, some hack named J.J. Abrams, decided to copy that and made a inferior product to that comic called Rise of Skywalker.
Well, that's actually something I would like to talk about. Then, see,
I haven't read that, so I don't know the full story.
Well, I'm talking about just the concept of Palpatine surviving in general.
Oh, I didn't buy it at all. As far as I'm concerned, Rey is a nobody. She's not a Palpatine. This was I don't. Palpatine didn't have a family.
Nope.
Who was the father? So apparently Palpatine had a son that nobody knew about. Just like in Star Trek Discovery, Mr. Spock had a sister nobody knew about. Because we can't just create original characters and give them, and let them, establish themselves on their own footing. We have to latch on to characters that were created 30, 40 years ago.
Well, there was an original character, and then he got bisected by a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Snoke.
Oh, Snoke.
See, the fact that you didn't know who we were talking about shows how forgettable his character was.
Snoke was basically, I noticed this when watching The Last Jedi. Snoke was basically Palpatine 2.0 based on the way they prepared the scene and stuff.
They even played Palpatine's theme during some of that.
Yeah, you know what I think they should have did, and I mean this was going around. This was a theory that I think could have worked, but then again, it probably would not have worked because JJ doesn't like to explain things because he's lazy and only puts in stuff that might be cool. Isn't it cool if we do put this in? Isn't it cool if we put that in? It might be funny if they say we fly now. But going back to Snoke, Snoke should have been Plagueis, Darth Plagueis.
Yes, that was.
And
Darth
Plagueis was. I mean, I don't know if you guys read the Darth Plagueis novel.
I did.
But he was the. To me, he was the architect of the whole situation. I mean, Palpatine obviously, outmaneuvered him and surpassed him. But to me, Plagueis was the architect of the Jedi falling and stuff. They both planned it, and I think it would have been interesting if Plagueis somehow survived, and then was kind of watching from the side. Either that, or Snoke was an ancient villain, an ancient type of Force user. Now, why was he? Maybe he was a Force user that was, hiding from the Sith, from Sidious and Vader and all of them. I mean, these were the things I was thinking about, like wondering like who Snoke is. And then I realized, this is done by a story group that doesn't care about its own canon. Matt Martin himself said that. And Pablo Hidalgo is completely unlikable. And I don't think any of the other ones know what they're doing or even have ever heard of Star Wars. They were just hired. And Kathleen Kennedy is just like, oh, I'm a producer. I'm a producer, and I'm just gonna, do what a producer does. Because I was Spielberg's producer, and like every single movie he did that was so successful, and it's my way or the highway. So, and I think the reason why they kept Luke dead was because this was a decree from Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy basically, I mean, people think that Abrams had complete creative control, and I don't think he did. I think he might have brought back Luke if he could. Because Luke was barely in the movie. And I mean, Colin Trevorrow left because of them killing off Luke. And the thing is, Luke didn't really do anything in The Last Jedi when you really think about it.
No.
He really didn't. Oh, no, he did something. It's called
he died.
Fail.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they chose a very uninteresting direction to take Luke. Why did Luke leave? Oh, because he failed. Oh, because he wanted to give up. How about maybe figuring out a way to beat this new, Snoke guy? That would have been a way more interesting reason. Maybe since Snoke was an ancient, maybe Snoke was an ancient type of Force user. Maybe a certain, maybe he had to look into this guy or something in order to find out how to defeat him and stuff.
or maybe
That
a
would have been more
nice
interesting. That would have been a more interesting story.
or maybe a nice simple. He saw a vision that if he got into the fight now, everyone would lose. But if he goes to this planet and waits a while, waits many years, someone will rock up to help him defeat the.
You literally
the
read
bad
my
guy.
mind. That was what was going through my head. You read my mind.
It's not the first time I've said it, so.
Yeah, I know that, but
It's using foresight.
Yes.
Just download it. Mind read.
Yeah, Sir AOA has like the mind reading powers as I have prediction powers. So.
What does AOA stand for again?
Secret.
Can I say Arthur of Avalon or something? Sir Arthur of Avalon?
Nope.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. I won't. So AOA. So I'll just call you Sir AOA. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You can call me Mr. Lifeform.
Cool. That's much easier to say than the
What about TFC? Is that secret too? TFC.
The Force Collective.
Oh, the Force Collective. Of course. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I'm thinking. Okay. But yeah, I did not watch the Bad Batch. But I did watch, the Clone Wars, and I did watch all of Rebels. And then after Rise of Skywalker came out, I got rid of everything J.J. Abrams and everything Disney, plus Game of Thrones on top of that.
Well,
I just got rid of all those Blu-rays because I buy physical media.
Yep,
I do too.
So I haven't been really. I just don't feel the excitement or the the motivation to watch Disney Plus stuff because of what they did with the Disney trilogy, and because I feel the Mandalorian could have been more. Mandalorian I feel could have been better. Just bring a compelling villain and make them once they come in, shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, I want them to make Thrawn like the main villain of another one of their shows, and actually use him to his full potential rather than water him down for Rebels.
Yeah, I have to read the Thrawn trilogy, so I have no idea I don't remember exactly what he's capable of, but he's obviously very intelligent enough to know how to engage or tempt a Jedi, a dark Jedi. So
yeah.
The problem is at the moment is that they're kind of playing in someone else's sandbox. They can't create a too powerful villain because it would be then a case of, well, why wasn't this villain in XYZ movie?
Yeah, they have to go further into the future.
So
either go further into the future or further into the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those sort of situations of they're spending too much time sort of navigating through the ice flows.
They need to stop with they need to take a break from the original trilogy era. I feel that's been beaten like a dead horse and stuff.
But they won't, because that's the one thing they can sell. The new stuff they cannot sell because they can't create something people care for.
Yeah, all you have to do. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
And they can't create anything else from the Disney trilogy. It's sort of a big
Resistance, but it failed.
Yeah, exactly. And yet again,
like you would think,
everyone in the original trilogy and the sequel trilogies died as failures.
You know what pissed me off the most? And I think I've already mentioned this in the chat. The way Han Solo died. That's the main reason why I was at theater very angry. So we waited. Well, I wasn't born. I was born the year after Return of the Jedi came out. So I can only imagine being a kid when the original trilogy came out. and you wait all this time to see a hero that you've grown up with, that that you wanted to emulate and stuff, and he comes back for the first time after 32 years, and in order to, because Game of Thrones is the biggest show at the time, decided to create a Red Wedding type shock moment where Han Solo gets murdered by his son and then falls into the abyss, never to be seen again. I mean, that's a horrible way to end a character that was part of especially an original Star Wars character from the original film, from the very beginning.
Oh,
Yes.
They didn't treat any of the deaths of the original characters really well.
But at least Luke wasn't murdered, never to
That's
be
true.
seen again. He just simply, now Luke's case was different. He basically died alone of a forced heart attack or something. I don't know how Mark Hamill
He
described
just
it.
got too tired.
Okay, he died of exhaustion. and then of course they pulled a very tasteless thing with Carrie Fisher, because Carrie Fisher was a drug addict in real
Really
life.
did.
And she died of a forced overdose. Yeah, and the way they showed her death was just awful.
I guess you could say she's hyperspace tripping. That's a bit of an inside joke at the moment.
I mean, I was kind of excited because I was at the Chicago, because I live in Chicago. I was at the Chicago celebration, Star Wars celebration.
Ooh.
So I was there in the theater when they showed.
Lifeform, you've gone silent.
I would say that this is interesting to hear, but I can't hear anything.
Technical difficulties have struck again.
Oh no!
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right, I think I said something bad about Disney, and I think they
DDoSed your.
I think they tried to silence me.
They tried that with me once.
But yeah, like I was there, and we hear the emperor laughing at that. And I was like, "Who's laughing?" Because I was like, it didn't occur to me that the emperor laughed. But then you see Ian McDiarmid on the stage, and he's like, "Roll it again," and then and then they show it again, and I'm like, "Oh, that is the emperor." And I was like, "Okay, how are they gonna bring him back? He's dead." And I was thinking, will they explain it? And I was like, no. If they didn't do any world building in The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, what makes you think they're going to explain how Palpatine came back? Oh, it was just cloning. Oh, it was just Sith cloning. That's it.
They didn't even mention the mirrors.
Oh, in the Death Star.
Yeah, apparently
that. Yeah, what was that? What was that? That was just like there to. Oh, we wrote a book. We wrote a book about that room. Buy our book. Buy our comic. That comic will explain how Luke's Anakin's lightsaber got found, or how somebody caught the lightsaber on Bespin. I heard this. I'm like, are these people retarded or something?
It was a window cleaner. He was just sitting there cleaning the window, and the lightsaber just dropped right next to him in his little.
Yeah, I'm like, this is what you came up with? Jeez, you guys are morons. How about let things rest and come up with new ideas?
Yeah,
and let them grow on their own merit. If you care about them,
you can't sell toys.
Yeah, you can.
Gotta sell toys.
I mean, Star Wars was a brand new thing when it came out. Those toys were freaking sold out for over a year. So yeah, they can sell toys. I mean, they just have to earn the audiences. They have to earn the audiences.
But that's hard, don't you know? It's hard.
Too much effort.
Well, I guess it is. But then again, yeah, Hollywood is just very. I don't know. Hollywood's crap. What can I say?
Don't you remember? It's a case of
I miss the
consume product, and get excited for new product.
And that was a very wise thing that Mr. Jay Bauman said in his video, well, Red Letter Media's video. But yeah, that's how people are. People are like, why can't you just enjoy it? Why can't you just enjoy it? Like, why can't you just listen?
Yeah.
Why can't you grow up?
Well, hey.
It's not something you can pick and choose.
The director of Sonic the Hedgehog listened and made us loads amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, would you have went and saw that Sonic the Hedgehog with that creepy looking Sonic?
No.
Yes.
I was disappointed after that.
By the way, you guys hear, apparently, according to the news, Idris Elba is going to be playing Knuckles. What do you guys think of that? I always figured Knuckles was younger because canonically he's supposed to be 15. So I figured they had a younger actor who can provide an edgy teenage voice, because that's what Knuckles is. He's edgy, especially with his knuckles.
Well, see, for me, I'm not sure how to feel about that yet. I made that mistake with Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka, thinking that it was going to be terrible.
I actually liked her performance. She was very. Yeah. I like a stoic character. I'm not convinced that that's the same character as Ashley Eckstein's Ahsoka.
Yeah,
but then again, maybe the whole Vader thing kind of broke her a little bit.
I think that's kind of the point, to show her as a very different person, considering what she went through.
Yeah. So, I actually really liked that episode. I just feel like they wasted Michael Biehn, because Michael Biehn was the heavy, was the heavy for that woman,
the evil woman lady.
Yeah,
with the Beskar staff.
And the whole Beskar thing, I think, is stupid. The longer you do this, the longer you keep making up weapons that can counter a lightsaber. The lightsaber starts losing its place. Like, the lightsaber is supposed to be the weapon.
Yes.
And this whole Beskar thing, what's the point of the lightsaber if you just have a bar of steel that can easily deflect the lightsaber?
Well, that's the thing. It really sort of can't.
So I was not convinced. If she can beat Maul, if Ahsoka can beat Maul, she can easily beat that whoever the heck she was.
Agreed.
Well, she did.
Yeah,
but it took a little longer. Yeah, and plus she lost the lightsaber.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't see this. And where's your master? Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? I'm like, oh, Grand Admiral Thrawn. I'd heard that name before. Remember Grand Admiral Thrawn, everybody? Remember this person, everybody? Remember that? Remember those two guys in the cantina? What was the name of that planet? Jeddah in Rogue One?
Yeah, it was Jeddah.
Here's my issue with Rogue One. I liked the movie when I saw it. Love the original. My favorite Star Wars is the original. I love the original Death Star, the original attack run, and of course, that time. The problem was they did not I could not remember the characters' names. Why? Because they never say the names. The idiots who wrote the script don't say the characters don't say the names enough, so you don't remember their names.
Yeah,
that's I call Donnie Yen's character Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah,
not Chirrut Imwe or whatever his name is, and I don't remember the other guys. What was the other guy's name?
Baze Malbus.
Okay, they should have said their names more.
We had this discussion earlier.
I know. I was listening, so I felt like, I need to be part of this. So, but my favorite character, I don't know if you guys agree, my favorite character in Rogue One was K2SO. He genuinely made me laugh.
Did you know that was me?
And she acted like, sure, yeah. Oh my goodness! Now, his death hurt me so bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. The writers are supposed to consider. They're supposed to give the audience a reason to care about the characters. So when we lose them, it should evoke an emotional, a feeling and stuff. I think that's their job. I mean, we felt it when Obi-Wan got it in the original Star Wars. We hated Vader for it, and then we see Vader shooting everyone else down at the end of the movie. I mean, we need a villain like that. We need someone that's gonna, you don't know what's gonna happen next. Crap is gonna go down.
And yeah, there's kind of not a lot of that at the moment.
Yeah.
That's probably also because no one's planning that far ahead.
So I haven't watched The Bad Batch. I know you guys all watched it and stuff. How would you compare it to Rebels or the Clone Wars or Resistance?
Don't even ask about Resistance, okay?
So was it that bad? Resistance? I've heard nothing but bad stuff about it.
I could not watch the series based off of the first episode. The first episode was nothing but terrible, in my opinion. Like the whole tone of the show already had me annoyed.
And that's supposed to be sequel era, or that's supposed to be the Disney era, right? The Disney trilogy era.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I watched 3
it's like there's no hope for that era whatsoever.
No,
there's nothing in it.
Nothing.
Nope.
There was only one interesting bit of information in that entire episode that may have explained a thing or two that was actually probably should have been explained in the movies themselves. Why was the Resistance separate from the New Republic? And the answer to that is that the Resistance was apparently a bunch of radicals that believed there was this mythical imperial faction still hiding out there, getting resources and trying to build itself up for a major assault and to take over the Republic. So that's why they were separate, and that should have been in the movies. They should have explained this stuff in the movies.
Did you read the novel Bloodlines? It's about Leia. It's about Leia.
No, I think I have it though.
So it's basically Leia's in the New Republic, and I'll be honest, the book was fine. It was decent for a Disney era novel and stuff. The only thing I remember was she was in the Senate, and nobody, and then somebody got wind that Leia's father is Darth Vader, and because of that, her political career is ruined. And then after that, I think she comes across information from the underworld, from some portion of the galactic underworld, that there's a first order out there. And so she decides to, set up her own little militia.
And just rename it the Resistance, which is the most creative name.
And I think, and then she tries to, so Han is away. There's like a small little chapter where Han is like teaching people how to race and stuff. And Ben Solo or Kylo Ren is training with Luke at the time. This is, I think, 5 or 6 years prior to The Force Awakens. So I think, or maybe longer, I don't remember. I don't know if this was before or after the repeated Jedi Purge. There was one thing I freaking hated about The Force Awakens. They repeated the whole Jedi Purge thing. I'm like, don't do that again. It was already done and was done better with the prequels. I like the prequels a lot too. So I agree with you guys that the prequels is the more interesting era. But I did not like the whole idea of them repeating the destruction of the Jedi. I'm like, it's already been done. Why do it again? Are you that desperate for ideas that you have to repeat what you basically render the original trilogy moot? That's how I felt after coming out of The Force Awakens. And it's like choosing between parents. You want to choose the good parent. Good parent was the original trilogy. Screw the other parent.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you should never put people in that situation to begin with. You never put a child in that situation where you have to choose between parents or choose between, parts of a franchise. I mean, I'm going to always go with the original, the superior one. And this is also how I feel about, the way Star Trek's been treated too. So.
Yes, I completely agree with you on all that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to dominate this conversation, but I just had to.
You're fine. You're fine. This is actually. I mean, this is. I'm glad that you're here because I mean, I was sort of losing my touch. I think in this stream, I just couldn't think of things to say. So I'm glad somebody here has thought of something more to say than I have.
You're injecting new things into the
Exactly.
into the discussion.
Exactly.
Like the way Disney injected new ideas too. Well, thank you.
I would
No,
not
you did better
insult
than
you
that.
like that.
No, I'm messing with you.
Because you're actually injecting things in. They just injected air.
Probably hot air. Okay, that's not even fair to air. So, yeah.
You know
So,
what? Here you go.
so yeah,
This is
I was in Vegas when I was when I was last in your chat and stuff. So I went to a Star Trek convention.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember
We
that.
saw that.
And I was
Yes.
it was a meetup. I was meeting up with the people from Friday Night Tights. I don't know if you're familiar with like Geeks and Gamers and Neurotic and all those guys. Well, I met them all. And they were. I pretended I was starstruck by seeing them. So I pretended I was Jonah Hill, like wiggling my arms and saying, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," And they're like, they're just looking at me and they're shaking their heads. I'm like, yeah, I'm messing with you guys. So. I was kind of nervous at first, but then I'm like, nah, they're just people, just like me. Well, so when I'm a person, maybe I'm a bot. Maybe I'm a Russian bot. No, I'm not a Russian bot.
Oh, I mean, we're all Russian bots if we don't like the sequel trilogy, okay?
You're like, if you don't like the sequel trilogy, you are a this and a that and a horrible person that supports something orange. I won't say what.
Hey, I thought it was red.
It's canceled, sir.
So,
see, the thing is, if you don't like this right here, then you're practically canceled, and you need to just leave.
I think Adam Driver's a really good actor, and I think he was wasted. I think he was wasted for the most part in this.
To put it really, I think they were all wasted.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were really, all of the actors were wasted, including the original trilogy actors.
Oh, the original trilogy actors was nothing but a freaking. It was basically
vandalism.
It was a missed opportunity after a missed opportunity after a missed opportunity. Like they could have brought them together. One thing I didn't realize until after I got home from The Force Awakens, they killed Han before Luke was even in the movie. Yep. And I just realized they're not going to be the three of them are not going to be in a scene together. And I was like, I was like, literally like, God damn it. What the hell are they thinking?
Well, there was that image that Mark Hamill retweeted.
Yes.
All four characters.
Yeah.
Except I don't think they had Chewie in it, which was like, what the hell, guys?
Yeah, Chewie didn't have a role in this trilogy. He was Han's sidekick, and then with Han dead, Chewie didn't have a role. He was just flying the Millennium Falcon. That was it. Because like in every movie, he had a role. In every movie, the original trilogy, and even Revenge of the Sith, to a much smaller degree, it was more of a cameo, but he had a freaking role at least.
Yeah.
Lucas didn't waste any of the characters. They didn't know what to. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what to do with R2-D2, and then they finally did something with C-3PO and Rise of Skywalker, and for some reason they got rid of his red arm, and apparently he was friends with Rey, Finn, and Poe somehow that we didn't see. Yeah, so
no, it was in the books. It was in the books.
So
all the comic books.
So are you saying I have to buy more supplemental material to get the full picture?
That's how storytelling goes, don't you know?
I did not.
Yeah, I thought everybody knew that. Come on now. Come on.
AFA, you might be the wisest person I've ever met. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should create a franchise and tell a fragmented story and say, you could find out, here's a comic, or here's an audio book, or here's an audio drama, or a regular novel. Yeah. You'll get that. How about the was it the Force Awakens novel? How did Rey get powerful? Oh yeah, she downloaded it from Kylo Ren, apparently.
No.
She read his mind and downloaded it from him. So that's why she was able to beat him. And
She
that was
used
like,
floor
what?
snacks.
Yeah, I was like,
Force
what? Yeah, she closes her eyes, and then all of a sudden she beats him. I'm like, she beats him. You just ruined his character. He was the villain. He was supposed to be the Vader like villain, and you made him look like an idiot. And then he made Snoke look like an idiot by killing Snoke. So you know who the most powerful person in the sequel trilogy was? Rey.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't
Because
even
she was the
Palpatine.
bestest ever.
Yep, I've heard that.
Yep.
And it's a problem with female characters. They just keep loving to make female characters and mainly boys as properties, and it's just like it's if you won't take risks with them, then don't use female characters. Go back to using male characters and have them go through hell. As horrible as that sounds, have them go through hell. Luke went through hell.
Well,
Anakin went through even bigger hell. He got delimbed.
Literally.
He got delimbed and got burned. He got burned conscious. By the way, there's a great video. Called Emperor Palpatine Gets a Job. You should look that one up.
Yes.
It is the funniest
Yes.
video. My brother and I laugh every time we watch it.
I watched it the other day. I love it so much.
Oh, you? Oh, okay. Did I share it?
Yes.
Did I share it?
I
on
think
your
you
thing?
did. I think
Yeah.
you did. And I went and watched it, and I love it so much.
It's old. This is like 2007 or 2008 G4, the G4 channel. So
I wish
this was when I was in college. So
wow.
But going back to your point of female characters and all that, this was mainly something that was brought up more for the gaming industry and all that. But you have the typical diversity, and someone bring up this principle that they called the Guy Fell Brush paradox, where
what is it called? The Guy Fell Rush paradox.
Yeah, I think so.
Are you sure that's not? Are you sure that's not a Rush song?
I've got no idea. But the thing is that that character was like the lead character in the Monkey Island franchise, I think it was.
Okay, I've never played those. I've heard a lot about it though. I've heard a lot of people really like it a lot.
But the thing is that if you make a mistake in that game, the main character dies in horrible ways. And the thing is that what was this character? Well, it was a straight white male. And the thing is that the reason why you would see a whole lot of straight white males in video games is because you can commit any horrible crimes against their person and no one would bat an eyelid.
Mm-hmm.
You do that with a female character and you got 10 articles on 10 different websites.
You're absolutely correct.
How much of a sexist bastard you are.
I mean, look at Game of Thrones. Remember, have you guys watched Game of Thrones?
I haven't.
Don't.
I know what
happened.
Do
not. Then
yeah,
you'll be wasting your time. But there was a segment in season 4, I think, or no, season 4? Yeah, season 4, where there's a something that rhymes with grape happens in a church at the king's young Joffrey's funeral, and that really pissed off a lot of a certain fair for the most part sex.
Yeah.
And
you mean feminist?
Yeah. I'm trying to. I like using code words because I think it's funny, and at the same time, you don't know what YouTube's thinking. So
and I'm sorry, you should never describe feminists as the fairer sex.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel bad now for that. So will you guys ever forgive me? Because
you know what? I think I can.
Like they're blue haired and they rhyme and land and it rhymes with hail.
Hail.
I won't say it. So, but yeah, they were given even going back. there are great female characters out there. I mean, you go as far back as Gone with the Wind. You have Scarlett O'Hara. She went through hell. She not only survived the Civil War, she had to step up and take over the family because the mother got sick and the father just lost his mind because their whole farmstead was burning. And then she eventually completes her character arc. Same with Ellen Ripley. Sigourney Weaver, Alien. She goes through freaking hell too. So I mean, this universe, life in this universe doesn't care whether you're a male or a female. It's indifferent.
It will screw you over no matter what.
Yeah, So I mean, like, can you imagine? Disney owns Fox, and Fox is one of the stewards. Well, they're crappy stewards of the Alien franchise. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think the Alien's going to let if imagine Rey was in the Alien franchise? Do you think they'll make the alien look stupid? The aliens look stupid? Yeah. They'll not attack Rey for some reason, and then she'll just overpower them. Their acid for blood won't affect her, and she'll be completely. All those characters will be completely impervious to anything. And once again, there will be no tension. There will be no stakes. I miss the 80s. I miss the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
There were some good movies in that time.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just worried what they're going to do with those franchises now. Disney's just eating up everything and just pooping out nothing left, pooping out no interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just Disney. I mean, Sony,
Warner Brothers, yeah, they're stupid too.
Sony just bought Crunchyroll, so that's pretty much the two major.
Oh, I thought they owned Crunchyroll for a while.
No,
or no, they own Funimation. Sorry,
they own Funimation. Yeah, they own Funimation, and
So Sony wants a monopoly in the West on the anime.
Yeah. And seeing how, I don't know whether you would call it Sony or you would just say PlayStation. PlayStation has become such a censorious prick of a company.
Well, they did provide Last of Us Part 2, the greatest game ever.
Yeah, with the perfect ending too.
Yeah, I mean, we all love, we all love characters just losing everything and drifting off to suicide because that's what I mean, I didn't play the game. I did watch the whole story. I'm like, who wants to see this? Who wants to see? I mean, everything is getting more and more nihilistic, and it's just nihilism is not fun. When there's no purpose to something, it just gets there. You can't. It's hard to invest. It's hard to continually invest. And
no.
Keep doing this. Sorry,
it's not so much nihilism. It's their mistaken understanding of nihilism. Because the thing is that the key way of describing nihilism is that there is no inherent moral principles or no inherent meaning to things. Now, the problem is that everyone views it as there's no meaning. Well, that's wrong. The key word is inherent. So when you're talking about all these people that do all this nihilistic stuff, like there's no objective truth or anything like that. Technically, they're kind of correct, but the mistake is that they only go halfway and don't continue on by then giving some truth or some meaning. So they completely stay in the subjective rather than actually planting some things down, which is what essentially Nietzsche was writing about. So it's not so much that they've embraced nihilism. It's that they haven't embraced nihilism. They've only dipped their toes in, and they haven't actually understood what they're purporting to have looked at.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know much of. I'm not as big on philosophy or nihilism. So, thanks.
Look, anytime you're in the stream or just anything with Sir AOA, you end up getting like some sort of lesson from any subject that you can possibly think of. I don't know what it is, but he's like the professor of the Force Collective, and I don't know how, but he is.
Rogue
So you said nihilism is inherent. There's no inherent meaning, as opposed to no meaning whatsoever.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Because I mean, if you sort of if you sort of think about it for a little bit, everyone goes, "Oh, the sky is blue." Well, okay, how do you know it's blue? And
because Big Brother told me so.
Something along those lines. We've all agreed that the color that the sky is what we label as blue.
Now, here's a bigger question: is water wet?
That is also another great question.
All right. Wait, I'm sorry. Go back to your point.
No. It is a good question. How do we know that water is wet? Well, we kind of don't. But the thing is that we need to describe phenomena around us, or we're unable to communicate with each other.
We need to be able to cope with our surroundings, and we need to be able to, like you said, we have to be able to describe and set up how we view things and stuff. How we view.
So we have to sit down and go, okay, we agree that this phenomena where water hits your body and it sort of stays on the body and hydrates and all that stuff, we will call it wet. Or, whatever word wet is in your language.
Moist.
My sister hates that word.
But that's what a lot of people aren't kind of doing. They're sort of just going, well, nothing has any meaning, so I'm just going to do whatever the bloody hell I want. Or who cares if we grab this IP and drown it into the dirt? Or who cares about the previous game? I've got a message that I need to tell, and that message is revenge is bad. So I'm going to just have the characters do stuff that they wouldn't normally do just so I can kill one of them and then have the other one go on a revenge rampage to say that revenge is bad.
Wait a minute. Are you saying revenge is bad?
Yeah, didn't you hear? And it took a game to tell me that revenge is bad.
Is war bad too? Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in school again. Oh wait, we are. We're being treated like a bunch of 10-year-olds. We're being treated like a bunch of 9-year-olds. Come on. Are you guys that freaking? I mean, I'm not talking about you guys. You guys are awesome. The current creatives are they so stupid? Yeah, they are stupid. Never mind. They treat the audience like they're children. I've noticed this a lot too.
Actually, it might not even just be creatives. It might just be sort of more of a sort of classes problem.
Liar! So basically, we're plebs. We're plebs to their aristocracy, so to speak.
Something along those lines. Because the thing is that I've kind of met this. I've kind of seen this when talking to some uni students, and they are clueless to everything outside their little bubble. I mean, I've had a sort of discussion where I've had to sit there and explain basic chemistry to them because they didn't pay attention to chemistry or science in high school,
Well, you have to
and now they're
understand math.
studying universe. Now they're studying.
You have to
at
understand math
university.
and science is something ist. Did you know that? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Liar!
Remember, gentlemen, 2 + 2 = 5.
Liar!
God, I hate that.
And there are 5 lights, not 4 lights. That's from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh.
You have to do that again, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Liar!
But yeah, that's all. I'm sure you guys already know this. Those are all 1984 references. And I've been reading that book for a year because that book is not an easy read. Well, it's an okay read. It's just not as interesting. But going back, so yeah, I mean, what were you talking about, Sario? I'll let you.
But the thing was that I never did university, and I spent 10 minutes sort of explaining basic science and basic scientific methods, and everyone in the discussion was just looking at me like I was crazy.
We have to test stuff. Why do we have to test stuff? Don't they believe me? We have to write a conclusion. Were we judgmental now?
Pretty much what was happening was that this person said, "Oh, I don't believe in evolution because how did life start from nothing?"
Well, there's an obvious answer to that. It rhymes with bod. Okay, I'm kidding. I don't mean to. I mean, yeah, I know not everybody's religious, so I don't mean to make fun of that. So,
but I mean, the thing is that the easiest thing to say about that is, well, evolution doesn't bloody care about how life started.
Evolution is something that we came up with to explain why species change over time, and why we survived and managed to avoid death, and how we've adapted. I mean, that's basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's how life diversified, not how life started.
Ooh, it diversified, really? Wow, that should be in the next movie. Rolling my. You can't see me, but I'm rolling my eyes right now.
But what was actually really funny was that the person that said that was actually atheistic, so they weren't religious.
You talking about Darwin, or are you talking about somebody else?
No, I'm talking about the person that stated that in the conversation I had.
Oh, okay.
And I went through evolution and abiogenesis, which is the hypothesis of how life began. And they, after I finished, they all looked absolutely stunned.
And this was recent. This is like recent students or something. Last few years.
I think he got muted for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So going back to Star Wars.
Yes.
So you guys were pretty. So you guys liked the Bad Batch compared to Rebels and Resistance.
Oh, that was the original question that we started on, wasn't it?
Yeah. it's you guys are really fun. I mean, you guys are really fun to have a stream with.
Oh,
I
thank you.
get to shoot my horrible humor that makes everybody's eyes roll and their ears melt.
Well, to be fair, my ears haven't melted yet, so I think you're doing okay so far.
I'm sorry, not melt. I meant bleed. Sorry.
Oh, bleed? Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Never mind. I do feel the blood in my ear at the moment.
Okay, there you go. All right. Yeah, I have. Yeah, after based on I loved seeing Luke at the end of Mandalorian, but I just wasn't really interested enough to keep going with Star Wars. I feel like that's the best when it comes to the Disney Plus stuff. I think that's the best they're gonna do. And I know it's a little. I know I'm being kind of negative on it, but I just don't see it getting much better. I just think it's gonna be more derivative, and then the whole thing with Mrs. Carano happened, and I'm like, I don't want to support them after that. So
I completely agree on that. See, the thing is, I stopped using Disney Plus after that happened, but I got it back only because some of my family really wanted to see some stuff on, and I was interested in the Bad Batch. So
exactly. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I will not shame people for still wanting to continue to enjoy Star Wars. I mean, if there's one thing I don't want to take away from people is their enjoyment. If there's something that if they can find something to enjoy about the new stuff, that's great. But if you I've encountered a few people on my
I think your voice cut out again. Yeah, I think it cut out again.
It looks like it has, and I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Give him just a second. He'll have it fixed, I'd say.
But actually, going on his point, I kind of view, watching the Bad Batch and continuing to support it as a sort of, I'm not allowing the bloody crazies to take any franchise. Oh, he's dipped. Damn.
He'll be back.
I'm not going to allow any of the crazies to take an IP that's still producing watchable content.
Yeah.
I think Disney was at it again. They took me. They tried to silence me.
Didn't they try that to me in the past streams or AOA? I'm pretty sure we made a joke about that. Yes. So maybe they are after us.
Yeah. But look, Lifeform, building on your point. I kind of sort of agree, but it's sort of a big case of I don't want to cede the battlefield to the crazies.
What do you mean?
So there's really only one way you lose a battle or a debate, by not rocking up. So if they are going to produce crap, I'm not going to watch it. But if they are going to produce stuff that's somewhat good, I want to support it just so I can sort of point or be one of the thousands of people pointing in the direction you guys should be going by watching the Bad Batch.
Yeah, but they continually, I mean, in my opinion, I think they continually, they take it as an opportunity and then they do it, and then they pull their crap again, and I think they're just gonna keep doing that. So based on previous bad behavior. So
well, that's where you stop supporting it and show them that that's the direction you don't want them going. But then again, not supporting it at all.
It's like typical customer service. You provide a bad product and you continually provide a bad product. I'm not gonna partake. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, there's too much entitlement in the entertainment industry right now. They act like they can choose their fans. They act like they can pick and choose what people want, and it's just fans. I mean, fans are the reason why they exist in the first place. It's a lack of gratitude, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I just don't respect people. I don't want to support people that are like that. It just incentivizes. I mean, I don't want to incentivize bad behavior. That's basically what it comes down to.
I get you.
For me.
Yeah.
But Soraya, I'm sure you have a much wiser thing to say because you are a wise gentleman. I'm not joshing you. I totally believe everything I'm saying, and that's unusual for me.
No, it's something that I definitely agree with. When you have situations where you can see someone, really trying to create something that they believe in and
putting heart into it, as I said earlier.
Yeah, I am very much willing to back it.
Yeah, you know why you have heart? Because you have investment in the characters. The people give Mr. Lucas a lot of crap, but he put a lot of work into establishing the characters. He established with the original trilogy. Why are we invested in Luke? Why do we want Luke to win at the end? Because we know what he wants. We know what he wants and what he goes to, or what he's going towards. We see what he went through. We see that he lost everyone in his life, and that he wanted to, he wanted to go out into space. He wanted to get away from it all, and he had that opportunity at a high cost though, and we want to see him succeed. We care about him, and because of the fact that they did such a good job setting up Darth Vader as a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he kills Obi-Wan. He has the ability to force choke people. You don't mess with this. You don't mess with this character. He's not. Once he comes in the scene, something will happen. And the same with Tarkin. Even though Tarkin wasn't a force user, he was quite an effective, a menace. I mean, we need to have more menacing characters. Menacing characters create tension and it creates entertainment. Entertainment is why we watch this stuff in the first place.
Not for a political message.
Well, I mean, there were political messages in the original Star Trek and in Next Generation and stuff, but it has to be told within the universe. You can't just, you have to tell in a way that that breaks verisimilitude. The suspension of disbelief needs to be maintained. If you can't maintain it, then you're a crap writer. That's all there is to it.
As far as political messages go, like, we had didn't we have a stream about that, Soraya? Didn't we have a topic in the previous Star Wars topics a while back, like probably a few months back, where we discussed the politics within the universe being totally different than trying to throw real world politics into the universe?
What do you think of The Last Jedi with the whole, the rich are the ones providing the money for the fake empire and the fake rebellion?
Before anybody says anything, this is what I think.
How did you feel when you saw that scene? I swear to God, I was like, what? I'm like, what is this? I didn't hate the movie at first, but I'm like, what is this? Why are they doing this?
I wanted to grab the story writers and sort of like rub their face in it and sort of go, don't do this again. Sort of like, a dog with their refuge.
And then Rey throws it in 9, and Luke as a Force ghost catches it. He's like, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect than this. And I was like, that was a big FU moment. That was a big FU moment, Mr.
Honestly, this is also my reaction to that scene that I just previously said.
That scene.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Hayden Christensen basically did a fake out boo to the kid, and that's what made him made him fidget and stuff. So the kid's like an adult now. So he came out and said in an interview that Hayden did that to him to get him to react,
jump.
To jump and stuff. So
God,
Master Skywalker, there's so many of them. What are we going to do? And then boom. I'm going to hell for that one.
Hey, look, I do child murder jokes all the time on these streams. So I mean, you would know. You watch them sometimes.
I know. Does that make me a bad? Does that make me a bad person? Yes.
No,
don't
it
know,
makes
does-
you one of us. One
One
of
of us.
But yeah, like you said about the prequels, yeah, like there's just so many memes and stuff. I think my favorite, I think the
Yes.
moment that I laughed the heart, or my friend and I, we were the only ones that laughed at it, but it was also, there was a very tense moment too, when Palpatine is sitting in the chair and he's like, do it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
We meet my friend and we were in college at the time, so I mean this was something I was looking forward to for a long time. So so when we saw it, I mean the movie, I'll be the one thing that I had one gripe with Revenge of the Sith. I felt that I felt that Anakin turned a little too easily.
Yes.
Or at least
I can
the
get that.
situation, like I felt the situation. I felt he turned too easily in the situation. Now, a lot of people argue that this was something building up over the films, and they're correct. But I feel that Anakin should have been put in a much more difficult position.
Yeah, I get that. I do.
Because I mean, he didn't really like Mace Windu, so I mean, heck I would have done that. I'd be like, no, and then but then I wouldn't have been like, what have I done? I'd be like, sorry.
Oops.
Well,
then,
oh, go ahead.
But yeah, the whole thing with do what must be done, show no mercy, and then he says it. The Emperor says it to the guy on the phone because and the Emperor finds a job. He's a telemarketer.
Yes.
Or no, he's a therapist, and he's like the guy he's talking to, where he's giving therapy to is a teenager, and he's like, I had trouble with my father. I just went. He's like, show no mercy, and your path towards the dark side will be complete. He's like, are you saying you should kill my father? Yeah.
Oh man, I love.
But
all
yeah,
the
that
references they make.
video is priceless. Like,
For anybody that hasn't watched that, look it up. It's awesome. Seriously.
I'm afraid the runways are quite occupied when you're playing this. We're gonna crash. We're gonna crash. Yes, pilot, you will die. We don't even do air traffic controls. How did you get that job? Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design. I love that. I love that video.
You know what? I'm
Sorry,
going to go
sorry.
back and watch it as soon as the stream is over.
My brother and I, we always quote that part of the video all the time.
I showed it to my family as soon as I seen it, and they all got a kick out of it. I loved it, and they loved it. It's just the best video ever.
And if you're a dog, he's like, "Are you a dog person?" Yes. It was I who constructed the fence around your invisible doggy fence. You want this, and it's he's petting the bone, and he throws the bone, and the dog gets electrified by the fence. It's so bad. And then there's the one where he's a telemarketer. He's like, I promise you unlimited power. And he shoots lightning into the phone and it kills the guy. And he's like, I mean minutes, unlimited minutes. And then you hear a scream at the other end of the phone. So it's priceless. I'm sorry.
You don't really get to see that much stuff on YouTube like that anymore. Nobody's creating new stuff like that much anymore.
Yeah, because people. I mean, you divided the fan base. I mean, Disney decided to divide the fan base instead of making something that everybody would like. So if they would have went with a more Lucas-like direction, I think everybody would have liked it. So,
oh yeah,
because you have your fans that have these things called brains and stuff, and they know that they can tell the difference between stuff. And then you have fans that are more normie that will like anything Star Wars. So,
yeah.
And are you talking about the Jar Jar faction?
Hello there.
Misa like Star Wars. Misa go and watch Star Wars film.
Are you Master Tano? I forget.
Commander Tano.
Commander Tano.
Yes.
Hey there. Sorry I wasn't able to join sooner. Work garbage.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Well,
How are
since
y'all
you're
doing?
here. Oh, good. Great. We have
it's my first time on the stream, so
yes.
How are you?
Doing well. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm a big fan of. So which version are you? Ashley Eckstein or are you Rosario Dawson? Are you more stoic or are you more, relatable?
Oh, I'm more relatable.
Okay, then you're Ashley Eckstein then. I like the stoic one too. So I like both. So
Yeah, no, I like both. Of course I'm biased towards the original, but yeah, no. I'm still processing stuff from last week.
Yeah, since you weren't here earlier in the episode, I want to get your initial thoughts on the previous episode that just played. So go ahead and give it to me. I want to hear it.
Where to begin? So, I guess
Besides saying Filoni is cruel, right?
it's I guess it's what I expected in many sense. I knew like we were not going to get. I suspect we weren't going to get something fully, at least on the kind of the Crosshair front, fully emotionally satisfying, if that makes sense. They're going to find a way to kind of string it out further, and they did. That said, it was very beautifully done. Like, the animation, the music, I was very impressed with that, and just yeah, I don't know where to begin with that. I think now I'm back to my. What's unfortunate is I'm back to my state of kind of original anxiety earlier in the season, where I'm like, it's like, okay, so they've not got Crosshair back, so there's still a chance they're gonna do some redemption death thing in the end, and I don't know. I would love for them to do a show where the entire family gets out of it okay,
Yeah.
I don't want I guess maybe this is Rebel spoilers, but I do I think the episodes with what happened to Kanan and Rebels, I thought they were really well done and very emotionally. I was impressed that they were willing to go there with that show on the one hand, but also I was I wanted to kind of see a show where all the main characters got a happy ending, or at least a satisfying one. So I'm kind of nervous about that now, but we'll see, I guess. I'm also I lost it. Oh, I lost it. But I suspect probably talking with you all will jog my memories back again. But yeah, it was I think some people who were kind of on total meltdown mode over the episode, on the one hand, I do get it for some elements of it, but also I'm no, it was really good. It wasn't the good that I may have wanted, but it was very emotionally affecting for me. And yeah, I liked that they didn't throw in a lot of new stuff in that episode. It was fun, say, at the end of the first season of Rebels, oh, they brought Ahsoka in, oh, and here's Darth Vader and whatever. There's so many teases at the end. And this one, there really weren't any teases. Yeah, you got that bit with Nala Se arriving on that planet, but you knew that was going to happen. It wasn't a surprise. So I like that there were no new characters, just showing up and leaving it at that cliffhanger. And so there's just going to be more kind of saved for the next season. And the fact that there's a second season, I would suppose that means there's at least a third season along the way. I suspect the second season, it's going to boil down to, now that the Empire has Nala Se, at some point, and all Kamino's data, they're going to find out that Omega exists. And so they're going to probably ask Crosshair to go find Omega for them. And that's going to create some conflict for him. And, we'll see what story comes out of that. But that's all my family.
That's if they don't shoot Crosshair on sight.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, is he going to realize, or is that going to affect him at some point? It's like the Empire doesn't give care about him, so I'm wondering when he's gonna realize that. And maybe there's still, if there's not a chip still in him, maybe there's something wrong, because he still clutches his head, and I don't know if it's because he removed it, or because there's a little piece of it still there that he didn't remove. I don't know.
Well, see, that brings up the conversation we were having earlier about your poll that you put up, and is he lying? Like, after we've seen that, we started to I started to sort of think maybe he was lying about having the chip removed. So, go ahead and give me your thoughts on that real quick.
Yeah, so I think I still lean towards he's telling the truth. Like, as far as he knows, he's telling the truth, I think. I'm kind of wondering if I almost wonder if, like, yeah, he tried to remove it and then maybe he just botched it. I don't know, but either didn't remove it completely, or once again, I'm curious, like, with that kind of enhanced, when Tarkin and all of them went in to kind of enhance the chip, does that leave some side effects just in his brain, even if he removes the chip? Like, how'd that stuff even work? So I still kind of in the camp that he's telling the truth, or at least some of the truth from a certain point of view. But I can understand why. I can understand fully why you can make the argument that he's lying. I see that head grasping, and it's like that, when he's doing that, that's clearly signaling in the story there's something not right there still. So it could be that it's a combo that, yeah, he's telling the truth, but also it's like, he didn't do it right, or, because that's the thing, we don't know how he removed it.
Or when.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a really weird scar he's got up on his head, and I could see how you could say, oh, Ion Blaster engine, but it's like, why doesn't his whole face look like that? And frankly, it was kind of the front of his face that took a whole lot of that, not so much that part of his head. Yeah, I don't know.
Cam. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to go ahead and let you say what you need to say real quick.
Okay, well, I appreciate you, Shade, letting me on and stuff, and it was cool having a conversation with you, Sir AOA, A of A, or something. And it's nice meeting you too, Commander Tano. I have a channel. It's called the same name, the Nerdporeal Life Form. I'm currently working on a Raiders of the Lost Ark review, and I stream usually on the weekend. Usually Saturday or Sunday. I play a video game and just do a chill stream and talk. Basically talk. Similar to stuff to what I said just now. So a lot of snarky complaints, and of course I talk about myself and how I got into stuff. So but yeah, if you're not doing anything on a Saturday, which is impossible because everyone's always doing something on a Saturday, check my stream out. And
what time on Saturday?
Usually around 6 or 7.
Oh, so Sunday.
Oh yeah, Sunday. Yeah, because you're 6 hours away, right? In the UK.
More 16.
Oh, Aussie.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're living there right now. Well, the Commonwealth stinks in general, in my opinion. U.S. is where it's at. I'm sorry, I didn't. But yeah, thanks guys for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you came on, and you can come on anytime you want to. I usually do streams same time every week, as you know. So if you ever want to join me,
you do streams like a couple days a week.
Well, if I want to do another one in a week, I usually would probably do it on Monday, but we always do one on Thursday around 6 o'clock. I had to push it back today an hour because,
But
you
yeah,
know,
promote your streams on my Discord. Yeah, just put it
I
on, and we can bring more people in. And I'll make an announcement if I plan to
okay.
come on, and you can get more. You get more views. Come on, use me, use my knowledge, or use my influence. Like Palpatine says to.
Use my knowledge. I beg you. That's how.
Yeah, it was all bull crap, but hey, that's why he was effective. So, but yeah. If you're doing something, any projects, share it. And I got 100 people on my server, so you might get a couple more subs.
All right.
I can promise you that.
All right.
Just don't cut off my head if I fail to deliver.
It's okay. I'll never cut off your head. Trust me.
Yeah, it's too medieval.
Yeah, too medieval. I might end up doing this though.
Oh no!
You don't see what happens after that. You don't want.
No, that's the scarier thing, because we have to use our imaginations. That's what Alfred Hitchcock.
We all know what happens. He smashes open the windows and throws the children out onto safety.
This is where the fun begins.
That's where the fun begins. Yep, of course. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Take care and have a good night.
You too, buddy. It was good having him on here. I'm so glad he joined us for tonight. Did you have anything else to say, Commander Tano, about what you were saying? I don't know if we cut you off or whatever.
No, not at present. I was just kind of rambling, but yeah, I'm just I'm still processing what I watched.
Yeah,
and agonizing over what to expect next year or whenever.
I think everyone is really. Not enough loose ends were tied up for everyone to sort of go, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's like, on the one hand, it gives me hope that we'll have, because some of those loose ends, it'd be like, I don't know that there was enough time in a single episode to tie them up well. So it's like, on the one hand, I'm hoping that means that when they do get tied up, we'll get a lot of time for that to happen. And I hope also that what I want to know is how much of season 2 has been written, and when was it written?
True.
And animated, and when,
The one thing I want to see is Boba Fett show up in the Bad Batch and have the Boba Fett versus Cad Bane. I was trying to say
that will happen.
Yeah. I want it to happen, and I'm sure it will, because they already had it partially animated anyways. Like, there's no reason for them not to use that. And they mentioned Boba Fett earlier on in this season, so I have a feeling that maybe they'll end up running into him, and maybe Fennec will end up running into him. Maybe that they will explain maybe how they exactly met. I mean, because it'd be interesting if they had met prior to The Mandalorian. That's just my opinion.
That's entirely possible. It probably will happen. And yeah, it's like, they're not going to mention Boba Fett without bringing in Boba Fett. And just because it's like, it's too, like, he's like as close of a brother to Omega as any of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. Let me think. I thought there was one more thing I wanted to discuss before we ended the stream. Because we talked about the inhibitor chip thing with you. Well, there was one other thing I wanted to discuss with you, get your opinion on, but I can't remember what it was. Do you have any other thoughts that come off the top of your head or anything like that? And maybe you'll trigger something.
Yeah, what I really loved was the whole part with the part with AZ rescuing Omega, and I liked, and I think a lot of people noted that, I liked the connectivity with kind of AZ and that whole Fives arc, and
Mm-hmm.
The kind of quibbling over what is his purpose, to the kind of well-being of the clones and so forth, and just like and yeah, even though he didn't ultimately die, I really liked that part. Like a lot of it was like very stressful and scary. Just I liked. I think if I hadn't been distracted by the fact that where it's like, oh, there's some questions that aren't answered, it was like just in and of itself, just the stuff that was happening in that episode, like I really liked in the moment. It was just kind of like how at the end I'm like, just no, don't leave him, don't do that, drag him back, like come
Save
on.
him! Save him!
Yes,
They should have just stunned him and then just kidnapped him.
they should have. I don't they should have.
They keep saying they don't leave their own behind. That was an opportunity right there to prove Crosshair wrong.
Yeah, agonizing. And so yeah, now it's like I feel like I'm back to square one with kind of worrying what's gonna happen to all of them. I also don't want at the end of this series, I do not want them to do with Hunter what they did with Kane. No, they cannot kill Hunter off. They can't kill any of them off. We've gotten that. We don't need that anymore.
You know what I feel like? I feel like we need like a Echo and Fives type of callback. I mean, we have Echo in the story, but he's not mentioned Fives once.
That's something I would love to see from the next season. I'd love to see a little bit more. I feel like Echo particularly could be utilized more. Yeah.
I feel like since they haven't, me and Sir AOA and Chrono were talking about it earlier, that they haven't really gone in depth enough with the inhibitor chips. I think this is what I wanted to discuss with you as well. But now that I think about it, I feel like they can do something with Echo if they try to go more in depth with it. They can talk about how a clone had discovered the inhibitor chips being in their heads and how that whole thing came out. And that would lead to Echo somehow, I guess, accessing the file that about Fives and all that stuff in Tup. And that would be a pretty cool callback. And then maybe we get Echo sort of reminiscing about Fives and maybe vent to somebody about what happened. And, I just want to know more about the inhibitor chips. And I feel like they can also do something with Echo and Fives at the same time. They didn't give us enough Echo and Fives at all. Like, after they saved him from the Separatists in the Clone Wars, I don't think he mentioned Fives once. So, I mean, it's just odd that he's not wondering, is Fives still alive?
No, I think there's the bit when they're on the junk planet, when they're with Rex, where Rex is talking to Echo, and he says you hear him say, mention that when Fives tried to warn me about these chips, like I didn't believe him, but at first, but then so yeah, no, Echo knows what happened to Fives at that point. It's just that they don't. I think we've got
belabor the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they should do a little more with it. At least give Echo a chance to say something about it and give his thoughts about it. Maybe to think about, since he is now the last remaining member of Domino Squad. Like, I feel like, and plus, 99 had a lot to do with his squad. And this Bad Batch has been created, I guess, in honor, or it was named in honor of 99. So there's a lot of connection to that story arc of the Domino Squad just from the names of things, and I feel like we should get like little callbacks, especially with Echo from that.
Yeah,
But-
agreed.
Yeah. But that's the only thing that I was sort of sad that we didn't get was like a little mention about Fives and maybe his relationship with Fives and all that stuff, and maybe telling one of the other members of the Bad Batch about whatever happened to Fives and stuff. You know, it would be pretty cool if they did that. Maybe he talked to Omega or something like that. Maybe saying I lost someone once that, but that wouldn't work because he was frozen in a stasis thing, giving off information unwillingly, so he wouldn't be able to experience talk about that from experience, just from what he was told.
I do think though you kind of have hit on a point where I think where Echo, I was about to say Fives, Echo could connect with Omega on the like. I just think like Omega's things about worried about being an experiment in a tube, or just those kind of anxieties like that. I think that's something that Echo could relate to very well.
That's true.
I would just like, even if that's all the Fives connectivity we get, I would like to see a little bit more attention given to Echo and also to Tech, frankly, as well. I feel like sort of, we've obviously got Hunter and Omega. That's settled. Wrecker and Omega, but I kind of want to see a little bit more regarding the other two.
We don't really get any character development for Tech anyway, which is weird. I mean, there doesn't seem to be much there to develop on, but you know what? They can always create something.
Yep.
I mean, his character is a new character. We haven't explored anything much about him. So they can always do something with his character. And I like Tech. Tech is fun. Maybe not as fun as Echo or Wrecker. I love those two. But
I think he's very fun, like his own way. Just some of the snarky things that he just says to all of them.
So dryly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I've found often when I'm watching these episodes with family, they're most often laughing at lines that Tech has said.
Yeah.
I can see why, because Tech is unintentionally funny. Like, he's not trying to say something that's funny. He's just being blunt, and that's what makes you laugh about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and probably try to end the stream here. But next week, we are going to give our overall thoughts on the entirety of the whole season. I've got to refresh myself on some of the episodes, and maybe we can have some fun discussions about all that stuff. But I want to do a season review for since the whole thing is over with. But that'll be next week.
Season binge.
Yes, we got to watch the season one more time. Oh, I'm so burdened down by this. Oh no. Actually, I'm not. I'm really going to enjoy this. Plus, some of my family hasn't seen the whole thing, so this will give me a opportunity to rewatch some episodes with them, because I'm going to make them watch it, whether they like it or not. So we're going to try to do a full-on review of the entire season. Just give didn't we sort of do that in this episode though? Nah, we didn't do that. What are you talking about? We'll have a whole episode just for that. Plus, Commander Tano will be there, and Chrono will be there, and Sir AOA will be there, and I will be there. Maybe Psycho will be there. I might just have a whole bunch of people there. You never know. I'll do something special for that episode.
Yay, special.
If I can think of something. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm glad that you were able to join us, Commander Tano, even if it was for a short time. I'm also glad that Nerd Poor Real life form, the Nerd Poor Real life form. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I say it right this time. It's not Nerd Poor Real, it's Nerd Poor Real. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting it right. Okay, so I'm glad he was able to join us. And if you haven't watched any of his streams, you should go do that. I've actually watched a couple of them so far, and they're quite interesting. I personally really like it. And yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and try to end it here. You guys got anything else to say before we end this here?
No.
We're going to end this? We never end anything.
That's true.
It's a stream that never ends. It
Well,
just goes on and on, my friend.
I mean, we're almost at the 3-hour mark, so I'm going to try to. I mean, I've got a visitor, and I've neglected them for long enough, so I do probably have to end this as soon as I can. Not to rush you guys. I'm not rushing you guys or anything.
You
I'm
should
just,
have just brought. You should have just brought the visitor on the stream.
That would have been a smart idea if I knew if they would actually do it or not. No.
Sorry, hang on. You're giving them a choice. What?
Oh! Are you saying I should forcefully put them on the stream? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, I'll try
Yes.
that next time. I'll just kidnap them, blindfold them, throw them in my chair right here, and have them sit in front of this thing and force them to talk about Star Wars.
Exactly. That's how content works.
Yeah. It's totally not what's happening to me right now. So.
Yes.
I'm blinking twice. That means help. You're supposed to help me.
Well, we can't see that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I didn't turn on my camera, but I'm not allowed to, so I have to tell you I'm blinking.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's totally how that works too. No, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream, and I was glad that we got to talk about our thoughts about the final episode. Next week will be the season review and our hopes for the next season. We can talk more probably about speculation for the next season in the next stream. That's part of what will make that stream different from this one for sure. But yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to show up, and thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't joined the Discord already, what are you doing? It's in the description below. You can join it. That's where you can sort of stay up to date with us. We're all on there, sort of just memeing around and stuff. It's fun. And also we all have Twitters. Mine's at TFC Star Wars on Twitter, and Commander Tano's is at Lady Tano 501st. And Sir AOA is at Sir_A_O_A. Right?
Yep.
I'm getting everything right, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you can follow them as well. And yeah, so that's all for this time. And I hope I had something else to say real quick, but now it's gone. Oh, well, forget it. We're just going to end it. So may the force be with you always.